On today's show, the Chicago Bulls deliver in a big way in Denver in a response. Clippers collapse again, and I'll tell you about the biggest disaster currently going in the NBA today. Locked on NBA Game Night right now.
When that final buzzer rings, you know it's time for Locked On NBA Game Night. All the post-game reactions to every game across the league, every single night, with insights only the hosts at Locked On can provide. It's the true NBA fans' one stop for all the action. Every game, every night. It's Locked On NBA Game Night, tipping off now.
And welcome. You're locked on to NBA Game Night. My name is Nick Angstadt, host of the Locked On Mavericks podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Thanks for being an everydayer, making Locked On NBA your first listen, and making the Locked On Podcast Network the #1 sports podcast network out there, not in the galaxy. We got a company-wide note that somebody on a show said that we are the #1 sports podcast network in the galaxy, and that is technically not correct. So I just wanted to make sure that we clarify that for everybody else. Joining me, as always, from Locked On Bucks, what'd you see in the NBA tonight, Camille Davis?
Some good games, some really good games. Not so much in Cleveland for the Bucks, but we'll see how that shakes out with the Giannis injury.
The team I cover had an 88.9 offensive rating tonight, so nothing going great over here either. It's too cold up there, I guess. The offense is completely frozen. We'll get into every single game in the association tonight. I want to talk about the Clippers collapse, talk about the Heat getting that win against the Knicks. We'll talk about the biggest disaster in the NBA, the Pistons getting 10 wins in a row. We'll get into that. So many games. Let's start right here with the Chicago Bulls and the Denver Nuggets. The Chicago Bulls get the win, 130-127. This is a big bounce back win for Chicago. This is the second night of a travel back-to-back. They were in Utah, had a double overtime game that they lost the night before. And then in this one, going to Denver, you could tell the announcers were at the end of the game were going, these guys are huffing and puffing. These guys are struggling with the altitude. And the second night of a back-to-back for the Bulls. And it was one of those where the Bulls just had a response for every single thing that the Nuggets did late down this stretch. The Bulls had a 12-point lead with like 9 minutes left in the fourth quarter. Then you had the Denver Nuggets, of course, Jokic, Murray, all of them making a run, coming back. They were down by 1 with 5 minutes left. Jamal Murray hits a layup with 2 minutes left, and they take the lead. And then Josh Giddy takes it back. Jokic hits a 3. Chicago responds. A quick 5-0 run real quick right there. Jokic gets another jumper, and then Vooch hits a 3. And then Jokic gets an easy layup, and you're just like, each one, there was something that responded, because these Bulls, there's just so many different ways that they can hurt you, so many different ways, so many different things that they can run. It's kind of like there's just a bunch of different things they can do with Josh Giddy being the size that he is, Buzelis being as athletic as he is, Vooch being able to step out and stretch the floor. I just came away impressed with like the variety of offense you can get from the Bulls.
Yeah, especially on a night where their starters really didn't have too much for you in this game. Like you mentioned, a double overtime game, and they just lost to the Utah Jazz last night. So they were tired. They didn't even have Kobe White in this particular game. He was sitting out because it is the second night of a back-to-back after he made his season debut yesterday. So like you were a little short there on some of the shot making that you had before, but the bench for the Bulls, 66 points for the Chicago Bulls bench in this game against Denver. The Denver Nuggets bench, 9 points. Like the Bulls bench tends to average 46 points a game. They hit that with 2:40 left in the third quarter. And this is after the bench had 71 last night in Utah. That was aided, though, by double overtime, and they had Kobe White coming off the bench. So, like, that skewed the numbers. So, in this game, to get 66 points from your bench, led by big efforts from Jalen Smith, even defensively from Jalen Smith, so many people, Javon Carter, they had contributions up and down the bench in this game.
I need an official apology from Pat the designer and Hayes on Javon Carter, because there are many things they've called Javon Carter over the years. To give you 5 threes in this one, I mean, yeah. Massive. But that being said, it's not like they've added a bunch of guys and all of a sudden their bench is completely different, right? Like I guess some of the guys went from being starters like Patrick Williams to now coming off the bench, but it's not like they changed a ton of personnel on that bench.
Right. And they're just all performing. Like, this is a Bulls team that you can tell this year they really enjoy playing with each other. They play for each other this season. And they were kind of building on that to end last season, which some people might have missed, because we know March basketball can get really weird in the NBA, but you were starting to see them build something last season. So to see that kind of continue into this year, even with some injuries affecting them, even with a little losing streak in between the hot start and this win, Chicago, I think, is going to be a bit better than some people might have guessed coming into the season.
And then just Josh Giddy, like the head of the snake, can do so many different things for you. 21 points, 14 rebounds, 6 assists. And like he has his limitations. Yes, the reason why he's not with the Thunder anymore, like he was part of that young group, and it's like, oh, the Thunder kept everybody. Well, like they did trade one guy, and this is the one. But he is like, he can do so many different things for him, and it's just such a unique player. Like it takes you back to like Ben Simmons, when Ben Simmons was doing a lot of things that he was. But having a point guard of that size, I think, is just a very unique challenge for a team, especially like the Nuggets, where you're trying to defend him and you're like, all right, well, what do we do? He gets a rebound, then all of a sudden it completely changes the landscape of the court.
Yeah, and Giddy was someone who was like flirting with the triple-double tonight. I'm glad that his ankle is okay and that he is back into the lineup after what happened to him against the Cavaliers. But no, he's been hooping. And I honestly thought that Giddy-Caruso trade might end up being one of those trades where for both teams it works, because both guys just needed to be in a different situation. And really quick, different situations, but not so much. Same. Nikola Jokic, man, another triple-double for him in this game. 36 points, 18 rebounds, 13 assists. Like, he has tied now Russell Westbrook and Luka for the second most 30-point triple-doubles in NBA history. All three, of course, trail the big O, Oscar Robertson. But just impressive play from him. And Jamal Murray going off in the fourth quarter. I think he had like 18 of his 34 there. So, like, as you mentioned, it was just a fun back and forth game where the Nuggets heavy hitters were swinging, but the Bulls had a lot more depth and guys that were up for the fight.
Quick note on the Nuggets too. Cam Johnson, 19 points, hit 5 of his 7 threes. This is his season high. I think the one before that was 15, like his second game of the season. So it kind of a good sign for him to start getting going for the Nuggets. That's definitely something that they need to get going for them. The Heat had a lot of things going for them in this game, but they did not have like a lot of their main players. Let's hear from Wes Goldberg from Locked On Heat how the Heat came up with this win against the Knicks.
That's a big win for the Heat to break a 2-game losing streak and get a big win over the rival New York Knicks. But more importantly, it shows that the Heat can win a game like that. I'm Wes Goldberg from Locked On Heat. The Heat have been winning games with their pace, the up-tempo system, the no ball screens, all the things that you've heard us talk about over at Locked On Heat. This was the first time they won a game that was slowed down in the mud. Frankly, this was an ugly game where neither team kind of deserved to win it. This was a butcher shop win. You don't want to see the process, but you just appreciate the results. The pace was slow in this game. The Heat got out-rebounded. The Heat got beat in transition in this game, which had been their bread and butter all season long. Didn't matter. They were able to still find a way to win this game in the end. Big contributions from Davion Mitchell and Norm Powell in the second half, and maybe Kel'el Ware's best game in a Miami Heat uniform, going toe-to-toe with Karl-Anthony Towns, who was bad in this game. Kel'el Ware was good in this game, and that was one of the biggest differences. So a huge win for the Heat that bodes well for things going forward as teams start to figure things out, figuring out their system, getting a scout on it. Teams playing a little bit more zone against Miami to try to slow them down. Well, they found a way to win despite all of those things, and that's something that bodes well for the Heat going forward, not just in the regular season, but potentially in the playoffs where we know things do tend to slow down.
Quick note on the end of this game. Davion Mitchell, 21 seconds left. He gets intentionally fouled. He goes to the free throw line. They're like, he's a 58% free throw shooter. So this is a good decision for the Knicks to foul him. He splits the free throws. When he missed the first one, Camille, I thought the Heat were on the road. Like for a split second, I was like, wait, I know I've seen these Miami Vice courts the whole time I've been watching this game, but like the sound from the crowd, and I texted Wes and I was like, how many Knicks fans were at this game? And he goes, it's disgusting. How many Knicks fans are at this game? And you just heard it in that crowd. But then Davion Mitchell gets the final rebound and seals it for the Heat. And I just thought that was a good like redemption little story right there.
It was, in the emotion too. Like Wes was saying, the Heat had to fight and claw for this game. That last possession too, just how the game was ending there, where the Knicks thought that they tied the game on a goaltending call, but then that was overturned. And then you had Deuce come and he missed jumper initially on that possession, and then Towns got the board, missed.
Deuce flies it. Deuce gets the jump ball, flies in with this lefty scoop layup trying to go around Khalil Ware. I was like, that was a ballsy shot to take at the end there.
I mean, he had that poster in this game too. So like Deuce was feeling good about himself. And I mean, when he missed again, and then you saw Towns get the offensive rebound, he got 2 of them, had 2 attempts to try to tie it, wasn't able to. And you just kind of saw him on the ground, just kind of laid there like, man, like that's a tough game. Like Anthony was trying. In a game without Jalen Brunson, without OG, you assume most of the offense is going to come from Anthony Towns. And he was trying his part in this game for sure. Luckily, he had some help from Deuce McBride, who had 25. Mikal Bridges had 23 in this game too. So there was some help, and they needed it in this game because it took everything to even get the game close for the Knicks down the stretch.
No Bam Adebayo for the Heat. No Tyler Hero still. Terry Rozier. I don't know what he's up to. But and the Knicks beat Miami on Friday in New York. So these teams like just played each other. And now they're back here playing, and so the Heat got their revenge there. So a good win for the Heat. Go listen to Locked On Heat for all stuff on that. Go listen to Locked On Bulls, because I'm sure those guys will have some great things to say about that win. Coming up, let's talk about the Clippers. Huge collapse. What is going on with that team? 1-8 in their last 9 games. Let's talk about that one and more coming up. Locked On NBA Game Night continues coming up next. Today's episode of Locked On NBA Game Night is brought to you by our friends over at Rippling. Your small business has so many different things you need to keep track of. So many different things that you need to hit. So many different things you need to manage, and you cannot have to deal with all those different things and then have to also do customer service and things like that. So go check out Rippling, see what they can do for you. They have HR, payroll, IT, and finance all in one place. They've helped millions of businesses replace a mess of disconnected tools with one system to give leaders clarity, speed, and control. Go check it out. See what you can get with Rippling and see how it can help your business running all kinds of different things. HR, IT, and finance operations as one, or just fill the gaps in your software stack. Rippling can do it all. Right now, you can get 6 months free when you go to rippling.com/LockedOnNBA. That's RIPPLING, rippling.com/LockedOnNBA, rippling.com/LockedOnNBA for 6 months free. Also brought to you by our friends over at Prize Picks. It's daily fantasy made easy. Go check out Prize Picks and see what you got, because every single day there's something different in the NBA. You can go and play a lineup. It's super easy. It takes like 60 seconds to pick a lineup. I can go do it right now if I want to go do NBA. All right, cool. Let's go to tomorrow. LeBron James maybe making his return. And so 17.5 points. I can pick the more on that. Let's actually go less on LeBron. I don't think he's going to play as much. And so we'll do that. We'll do Jimmy Butler, 1.5 steals. I go more on that. Steph Curry, 27.5 points. He's on fire. We'll take more on that. Boom. I just played a lineup with Prize Picks. You can go and play one like that. You can also combine different sports too, which is fun. Download the Prize Picks app today. Use the code LOCKEDONNBA to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code LOCKEDONNBA for $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, it's good to be right. Thanks for hanging out with us on Locked On NBA Game Night, being part of the show, part of the Everydayers. Go listen to all of our great shows. Locked On Mavs from me and Isaac. Locked On Bucks, Camille and Justin. We'll talk about those teams and what's going on with them a little bit later. Well, let's talk about the Clippers, because the Clippers fall to the 76ers. We'll hear from Mark Farzetta about how the Clippers side of this happened, but the Clippers fall in this one. They had a lead for most of the game. Yeah. The Clippers started their lead at 9:50 in the first quarter, and then didn't give it up until like 5 minutes left in the fourth quarter. Led for most of this game. And James Harden, that first quarter, it looked like he was on another one. 17 points, 5 of 9 from the field, 2 threes, 5 of 5 from the free throw line. And you're like, all right, here we go. James Harden again, where he is carrying this team. He's doing so much for this team with Kawhi Leonard out, Bradley Beal out, Derek Jones Jr. now going to be out for about 6 weeks or so. And Chris Paul getting DNP CDs until tonight, when he actually goes out there and plays and hits a three. They just didn't have anybody to turn to. So it's been all James Harden until the rest of that game. The rest of that game after that first quarter, 11 points, 2 of 16 from the field, missed all 7 of his threes, and the only way he really scored was 7 free throws.
Yeah, it was one of those games for Harden too, where And I think it was the first quarter when he officially hit that 28,000 point mark in his career, became the 11th all-time scorer in NBA history. And to your point, it felt like it was going to be a big Harden game. Like, there was so much conversation about Paul George making his season debut, and for good reason. Also because, like, hey, he's playing against his old team. I thought too, like, hey, maybe Harden's getting some of that revenge factor bump in this game, playing against the 76ers, a team that, you know, he spent some time with as well. But ultimately, to your point that you mentioned about how the Clippers were in control for most of this game, it was 91-81 with 8:44 left. Philly had a 14-3 run over the next like 3 minutes to go in front. And from there, it was back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. Now, I did think Harden got fouled there at the end.
Oh,
so I thought he was fouled, but it wasn't
on
called.
Which, the first three or the second three?
Funny, you could ask on either one, but I thought in particular it was the first one where he was fouled, but it wasn't called, so you continue to live with it. On the Sixers side, Tyrese Maxey, man. Tyrese Maxey, again, almost 39 points tonight, almost a 40 ball, 27 in the second half. I'm telling you, Philly hasn't been all the way there over the last week and a half or so, but they got some pieces that you got to respect what they can do, because they have now won with this game, their 5th game by 5 or less points. They are never really out of it.
No. And they got Joel Embiid was out in this game for them. They got a really good game from Andre Drummond, 14 points, 18 boards. And late in this game, there was the challenge. Drummond was fouled by Kobe Sanders on a rebound attempt. It was successful. Then Philly was in the bonus at that point. Drummond goes to the free throw line, hits both the free throws, which you do not expect Andre Drummond to do. And they were up, that put them up by 4, which was pretty big late in this one too. And so big one for him. And then the return of Paul George, 9 points, 7 boards, 3 assists, 2 of them in the fourth quarter of those assists. And they get 21 minutes from Paul George. And like the way we're approaching now, Paul George on the Sixers team is so different than I thought we were going to be approaching it this season. We're like, oh man, they're going to have to rely on Paul George again. What can he give him? Now it's just like, hey, can you give us some playmaking for our young, like quick guards? Can you give us maybe a little like defense and length for some of these guys? Like they really don't need as much as you would think that they would need a Paul George.
They don't. I mean, his first shot where I was like, that's what they're really going to need. Catch and shoot threes, space the floor, knock down open shots when you get there. Now, he did finish the evening 2 of 9 from the field. So, like, again, first game back, there's some rust there. You got to get into playing shape. But, like, if he can just space the floor, the playmake, rebounding, do those other things, kind of like the things that fill up the stat sheet, might not be as flashy, but that's all they need, because Tyrese Maxey is real. VJ Edgecombe feels like that backcourt with him and Maxey. Yeah, you can count on them. And this is a game too where they didn't have Oubre in this game. So being able to have a Paul George, another wing option, super important for him.
And Jared McCain only played 5 minutes in this game. He's only there. He's only played like I think this is his 4th game. They've given him just like spot minutes here and there to try and get him back. Do you remember what I texted you, my Paul George prediction?
I do. Yes, I do. You were almost dead on.
5 points on 7 shots. He got 9 points on 9 shots. I was pretty close. But the Sixers got their win by the speed of Maxey, Grimes, and Edgecombe. Like every single time that they scored in the fourth quarter, it felt like it was because Grimes was cutting backdoor, or he was getting a dunk, or Maxey was driving by somebody, or Edgecombe was getting fouled at the rim because they were just too fast. Like all 3 of them, and they just give you something like really unique with all 3 of those guys like that. Let's hear from Mark Farzetta about how the Sixers got this win.
76ers come up with a hard-fought 110-108 victory over James Harden and the LA Clippers. Clippers coming off a back-to-back. Sixers, obviously not. So it was all about getting to that fourth quarter. And when they did, the Sixers took control, outscoring the Clippers 37-25 in that final frame. Tyrese Maxey coming up with 14 of his game-high 39 points in that fourth quarter, while Quentin Grimes dropped in 9 of his 19 in the fourth quarter, as well as providing some great defense on James Harden, especially on that final possession where Harden got 2 good looks from 3 that would have put the Clippers in front, but he missed them both. Yeah, Grimes might have gotten away with a foul on the first attempt, but hey, what's it called? Nobody saw anything. Also, Paul George made his 2025-2026 season debut. He got 9 points for the Sixers in 21 minutes played as he tries to play himself into game shape.
I love when our host can admit, like, hey, yeah, maybe they got away with one.
You got to. That's the respect factor that comes in with the Locked On brand. You got to keep it real.
That's right. Keeping it objective over here. We may have the radio voice of the Utah Jazz as our leader, but we're keeping it objective over here.
As much as we can. As much as we can.
Coming up, Giannis goes down with an injury. How concerned are we? And then the NBA's biggest disaster. I'll tell you more about that. Locked On NBA Game Night continues right now. Today's episode of Locked On NBA Game Night is brought to you by Robinhood. Your ambition just met its match with Robinhood. You play for the win, not just on game day, every day, locking it in on every opening, beating your PR, beating it again. Channel that drive into your money. Go and see Robinhood puts you in control of your money. Trade stocks and ETFs, options, futures, and crypto all in one platform. You can now build and execute your own trades from a desktop with Robinhood Legends advanced tools. Or take advantage of the new Robinhood strategies with a tailored portfolio managed by a team of experts. You expect more from yourself. Expect more from your money. Get started today at Robinhood.com/yourmoney. Again, that's Robinhood.com/yourmoney. It's your money, your move. Also brought to you by Rugiet. Let's be real. Making excuses like maybe what the Sixers are doing, or maybe what the Clippers are doing right now with all their losses. It's tired. It's tiring. You just can't say, I'm just tired. It happens to everybody and all that stuff. There are ways to go about this. That's where Rugiet comes in. Rugiet offers fast-acting, doctor-prescribed treatments for ED designed to help you stop making those excuses and start making moves, make things happen. Rugiet makes it easy to get started. You connect with a board-certified doctor, 100% online, no awkward waiting rooms, no in-person appointments or things like that. And if you get prescribed, your treatment ships discreetly straight to your door. I don't know if they like wrap it in something or if they just don't write anything on it. It's just like an unmarked package at your door, but it's discreet and that's what you want. Visit Rugiet.com/LockedOnNBA, RUGIET.com/LockedOnNBA to get 15% off your first order. Again, that's RUGIET.com/LockedOnNBA. Use that code Rugiet. Stop making excuses. Start making moves.
Big chicken, baby.
I think a lot. I'm very smart.
Take that for that.
Count it up. Count it up. Count it up. Count it up. Count it up.
It's Counted Up, where we count on the most interesting, fun things in the NBA. Giannis thing, not as interesting. The Bucks lose 106-118 to the Cavs. Cavs get a win. Go listen to Locked On Cavs for Danny Cunningham's take on that. But Camille, Giannis goes down with an injury. How concerned are we about Giannis Antetokounmpo right now?
Pretty concerned. After the game, Doc Rivers didn't really have any answers, saying that Giannis will be getting some imaging done tomorrow. So on Tuesday, the 19th. So we'll have more information there, hopefully. But Doc just said, doesn't look good. And generally, when your head coach say doesn't look great without any additional information, you can probably expect that someone's going to be missing a little bit of time here, which is not great for the Bucks, given that this whole team is built around Giannis maximizing this roster.
Where do they even turn? Like, is this, I mean, can Ryan Rollins step up more? Like who do they even turn to now?
I think Ryan Rollins is going to be that first answer for sure. Miles Turner is someone else who has experience of working in the system where the ball movement is paramount. So his voice and his leadership, I think, is going to be really important. And also defensively, they're going to need more from him defensively as well, because I think defense is going to be a way for the Bucks to try to score points going forward if Giannis misses any time. That plus getting up as many threes as humanly possible while he is out.
I think what I'm hearing is the Mavs may not have the worst offense in the NBA this week.
No, they will. They will.
The Mavs will still have it, or the Bucks will have it?
No, the Mavs will still have it.
It's bad. It's not good over here, Camille. It's not good.
You ain't wrong.
It is good for the Pistons, though. Great times over there for Kuka Hill and the Detroit Pistons. Let's just hear from our guy. He's enjoying himself in this one.
Host of Locked On Pistons podcast, Kuka Hill here.
I played this one without the background music. Can you tell why?
Detroit Pistons win their 10th straight game of the season. They are now 12-2. They sit at the top of the Eastern Conference still, and they did this without, again, Kay Cunningham, without Asar Thompson, without Tobias Harris. They did this without numerous key players, their best player, another one of their top 3 players, and they continue to go on this win streak with 10 straight. Jalen Durham returned in this game. He had 31 points, completely dominated the Indiana Pacers, and got paid back for Brandon Knight after a posterizing dunk on Ben Manson, just like the one DeAndre Jordan gave. Brandon Knight 14 years ago. Finally got payback for that. It took long enough. He had a fantastic game. Dennis Jenkins headed into this game averaging 20 points and 7 assists. He ended this game with 26 points and 7 assists. He played extremely well, and Javonte Green had 20 points. If I told you that in Game 14, the Pistons' leading scorers would be Jalen Duren, Dennis Jenkins, Javonte Green, and Cade Cunningham, Asar Thompson, Tobias Harris, Jaden Ivey, and Marcus Sasson would all be out, you would have thought that the Pistons were hovering around 500, but instead, they are 12-2, 10-game win streak. Detroit basketball is back.
I think I would have said, who is Dennis Jenkins?
I definitely would have said that.
If you told me that before the season started.
And not expected 500, I would have thought they would have been like the Pacers. I'm like, oh, y'all got what, a couple games to the ledger here?
I also have in-depth boots on the ground reporting from a source that says that Koo left that game early because he had an ear injury and he was sick. And so he was playing hurt tonight.
Being at a stadium when your ears ain't right.
Yeah, tough.
Shout out to Koo for even attempting that one.
Shout out to Tony East for that intrepid reporting, who was there tonight. But the Pistons defeat the Pacers. Now they've won 10 games in a row. First time since 2007, 2008. Man. That season, they won 59 games. Camille, name the starting five of that Detroit Pistons team from 2007, 2008.
Oh, brother. You don't put me on the spot. I don't think I'm gonna be able to do that one for
easy.
You.
It's
Was it Chauncey? Was Chauncey still there?
Chauncey Billups on the team.
Chauncey, yep. Ben Wallace.
Ben Wallace not on the team, no.
No more Ben. Was Rip still there? Rip Hamilton?
Rip Hamilton, yep. That was the backcourt.
Golly. I am drawing a blank right now. Who else was on that team?
Rasheed Wallace.
Big Rasheed.
Tayshaun Prince still on the team at that point.
Tayshaun Prince was still there.
And the fifth one you will not get. Like that.
Who was it?
Antonio McDyess.
Definitely wouldn't have got that. The other four at least were during that championship run where it's like, I got it. But no, McDyess, no.
That was the main starters when they went to the playoffs that year. So that's what we're talking about. That's how long ago it was for this Pistons team to win this many games. So shout out to them. The Pelicans are not winning that many games, maybe this entire season. Let's hear from Jake Madison because there's problems going down in New Orleans.
Pelicans get blown out by the Oklahoma City Thunder 126.
Just like Jake just blew out his microphone.
6109. I'm Jake Madison, host of the Locked On Pelicans podcast. This is the type of game where you go, oh, there are deeper problems here with a franchise. Yes, the Pelicans have fired head coach Willie Green. Interim head coach James Borrego is now 0-2. And this just shows you there's a lot of work that needs to be done here in New Orleans. This is not a franchise that was just going to make a coaching change and get right back into contention and have things fixed. First of all, you still don't have Zion Williamson playing on the court. And even if you did, when the Oklahoma City Thunder won the first quarter 49-24, more than doubling up New Orleans, would it even have mattered? This is the type of loss, this type of stretch here needs to make you evaluate this franchise top to bottom. And hopefully that's what the Pelicans are going to do. It's going to be an interesting run up to the NBA's trade deadline. I got more over at the Locked On Pelicans podcast.
I bet a lot of you thought that I was going to say the biggest disaster in the NBA was the Dallas Mavericks. Maybe it was Giannis getting hurt. Maybe it was the Clippers collapse. No, it is this. It is the New Orleans Pelicans because, Camille, this is the situation we're in.
Count it up.
Which is worse, the New Orleans Pelicans currently giving a top 3 lottery pick to the Hawks or the Clippers giving a top 10 lottery pick to the Thunder? Which one is worse?
The Clippers pick to the Thunder is worse for the league.
It is.
But the Pelicans not having their pick that they traded to Atlanta is probably like the worst thing for their own franchise. Like that, I don't know why they made the trade. I mean, why they love Derek Queen. They wanted him on their team, so on and so forth. But trading that draft pick in this upcoming draft, I just feel like New Orleans thought a little bit higher of themselves this year than a lot of people did coming into the year.
Somehow the Mavericks are not the most disastrous, like, hey, we're a win now team and like, let's go out and win now situation. The Pelicans are that. That is a wild misreading of what you are as a team.
Truly. And I didn't get it in real time. Like when the trade was made during the draft, I was like, why would they do this? Who do they think they are? No John Legend, but who do you think you are?
This win came for the Thunder came without Jalen Williams, obviously. Caruso didn't play this one. Wiggins didn't play. And the Pelicans never led, and OKC was up by 30 by like the second quarter.
Yeah, SGA didn't even have to crack 30 points in this game.
No, or like over like 25 minutes. Like how many minutes did he play this game? Oh my gosh, disaster over there. What's not a disaster though is the Toronto Raptors.
Yeah.
The Toronto Raptors are all of a sudden this fun team. They're number 3 in the East, Camille Davis. Let's hear from our guy, Sean Woodley. Why did I? He is on a train right now. Let's hear from Sean Woodley on the train.
Who needs crunch time offense when you have crunch time blocking the hell out of everyone at the rim in the final 10 seconds? The Toronto Raptors pick up their 8th win in their last 9 games. They are now 9-5, a 110-108 win over the Charlotte Hornets. Only the second game the Raptors have played all year decided by fewer than 10 points, and their crunch time offense very much looked like they hadn't played together in a close game at all. Brandon Ingram, a little bit ISO heavy, and it really took a lot of scratching and clawing for the Raptors to get this one over. The Hornets took a lead with about a minute and a half left, and it seemed pretty dire, but a back down turnaround dunk by Scotty Barnes, and then a beautiful pass from Brandon Ingram to RJ Barrett cutting down the lane after seeing 2 bodies, gets the Raptors a 2-point edge. And then on the final possession, Brandon Ingram comes out of nowhere with 7.5 seconds left to swat a shot at the rim that would have tied it. And then Scotty Barnes with a walk-off block 7 seconds later. The Raptors win. Their defense was actually quite tidy in this game. It's probably been the weak spot of their game so far this year. Their offense in the half court finally got slowed down by a team. Shocking it was the Charlotte Hornets of all teams. But you saw the full Brandon Ingram experience tonight. He was really good overall, 27 points in this one, hit a few threes, had that big block late, and absolutely welcomed Ryan Kalkbrenner to the league with maybe the dunk of the year, at least on the Raptors end so far. Raptors looking pretty good and an easy schedule ahead, sitting at 9-5.
The Toronto Raptors, 9-5, number 3 in the East. They are 7th in offense, 7th in defense going into the night. Camille, absolutely insane. My question, easy one. Here, Ingram, RJ Barrett, and Scotty Barnes are each averaging 19 points. The only other team that has 3 right now, averaging over 19 points, that's qualified for leading the league in points. Denver, only other team in the league. My question, are the Raptors a real threat in the East?
If you are saying threat as in like contender to come out of the East, there's a shot for it.
Make it to the Eastern Conference Finals. Let's just say that.
They could. I wouldn't say they're a favorite to do that, but they definitely could with how this team has been constructed with the defense that they've been playing. But I think they're probably in that tier right after like the teams you would expect to be in the Eastern Conference Finals this upcoming season. And when you look at the hoop, like Detroit, I'd put them still in front of Toronto right now. Who would have thought Detroit and Toronto talking about where they stand going to the Eastern Conference Finals? But and then also Cleveland too. So those two right off the top of my head, I'd put in front of Toronto still.
You're not putting anybody in front of the Dallas Mavericks because they will not score on them. Anything that they do will not work right now. Mavs had an 88.9 offensive rating against the Timberwolves. Timberwolves, it's a good win for them. They just cruised to this win, and Anthony Edwards didn't score until the 3-minute mark in the second quarter. He did not really have to do anything. This was like a Julius Randle, and Naz Reid was really putting up a bunch of points early for them. Their offense seems to be really getting going. The Mavericks defense has been really good. They've been top 5 most of the season, and so for the Timberwolves to look that good was good for them. The Mavs didn't have any of their centers. Anthony Davis is obviously still out. Kyrie Irving is out. Derek Lively was out for this one. Gaffer was out in this one. Second night of a back-to-back for the Mavericks. The Mavs have also played 4 games in the last 6 days. It's been one of those where they played a back-to-back. They played 2 other games. They also played a double overtime game and an overtime game. So the Mavs just ran into this all right, there's no way we're going to win this game. Schedule loss, basically. On top of the fact that they're already not a better team, not a good team. But Kyrie Irving may come back soon. The question is,
Count it up.
If you're the Mavs, what do you do with AD and Kyrie right now?
Hey, that's the question. That's the $1 million question right now for the Mavericks, because if the team continues to lose before Kyrie comes back, it might just be better off for the Mavericks to say, hey, we're going to actually sell out on these veterans and just start the Cooper Flag version of this team. Because correct me if I'm wrong, but this upcoming year is like the last year y'all actually control your draft pick for some time, right? 4
years after, so this year 2026 pick they own outright. Then 4 years after that, they have swaps with the Thunder. They have a swap with the Spurs. They have the 2027 pick is top 2 protected to the Hornets. And so there is a lot of questionable things. The Mavs cannot tank next season at all. They could this year, but they can't be bad next season. And so that's the problem that they run into. We talk about this a lot on Locked On Mavs. So go listen to Locked On Mavs for I'll talk about Anthony Davis and Kyrie and what they should do with them. But they cannot I don't think they can sell both of them off is the big issue. Kyrie is such a fan favorite, has done so much for the franchise that I'm curious to see how the Mavs approach this, even just from a business side. He is the most beloved player on the Mavericks right now by far among fans, which is kind of wild. The biggest cheer I think we're going to hear all season is when he returns at some point, because he is going to return. That Mark Spears report happened today where he said that he's close to returning, and if it was a playoff game, he could return right now. And so we're just kind of waiting down the days until Kyrie Irving says, all right, I'm ready to come back, and then the Mavs have to make a decision. Mavs owner Patrick Dumont is now making decisions on who can play and who is not going to play. I
saw that.
He quashed the Anthony Davis thing from coming back. Nico Harrison was trying to get Anthony Davis to come back before he got fired. That was over a week ago. Anthony Davis just got reevaluated yesterday, and he's going to be out 7 to 10 more days. And so I don't know what's going on with the medical staff, what's going on with decisions being made, but listen to Locked On Mavs for more on that. We'll talk about all those throughout the week. Listen to Locked On Bucks for more on Giannis's injury. And we have all kinds of great shows. Check the link in the description for different ways to find the show. Thanks so much for listening to Locked On NBA Game Night